I wanted to quickly go over the directions for this worksheet that you'll be doing, which is due tonight by 11:59 p.m. Please make sure you hit the submit button in the upper right hand corner. When you open this, it gives you the definitions of both direct and indirect characterization. The other item that you'll need to open on your screen will be the Born Worker reading assignment. So in order to get that, you can go back to the home screen, click on this week, go into Monday, and click on the first link, Born Worker. It'll open your document into Kami. Okay, so you should have at least 2 tabs open, the Kami tab and this worksheet. On this worksheet, you see a table. What you are looking for are examples of either direct or indirect characterization of any of the characters within the story. So in our story, Born Worker, you have the character of Jose, you have the character of Arnie, and you have the character of Mr. Clemens. All 3 of those characters can be used in this table. What you're looking for is to go back into the text and kind of skim through or use your annotations to find examples of either direct or indirect characterization. Here's an example that I pulled from the text. They said he was a born worker. They're referring to Jose or Jose's father in this case. I'm going to put this as my quote or my evidence from the text. I just copied and pasted it. I put quotation marks around it because obviously it's not my writing, it's somebody else's. Then I'm going to decide if this example is either an example of indirect or direct characterization. And my question is, how do I decide that? I decide that based on what is this sentence telling me about the character's personality? Does it state directly in this sentence a word that describes my character's personality? If that's the case, if it uses the word in the sentence, it's an example of direct characterization. This first one is indeed an example of direct characterization. The personality trait that they name is born worker. They're referring to someone and calling them a hard worker or someone who is born to work. I use the letter D to indicate that it is direct characterization, and then I answer the question directly to the right. If it is direct, what personality trait is stated in the line? So literally I go back to this line and I pull out the word born worker. That's what they're talking about. Okay, on the opposite side of things, if you find examples that are labeled indirect characterization, it's going to look a little bit different. I'm looking for thoughts, actions, things that the characters say, do, how they feel. It's something that I need to infer based on what I'm reading. So here I pulled an example out of the text. Jose looked at his cousin, not a muscle of curiosity twitching in his face. When I read this line, there's no personality trait directly in this sentence. It doesn't tell me that Jose is angry, Jose is mad, Jose is confused. It doesn't tell me any of that. What it does tell me is that he looked at his cousin and he wasn't curious. So here, that leads me to believe this is indirect, because from this statement, I can infer that he's annoyed. It doesn't say the word annoyed in the sentence itself. So what I'm going to do is write an I for indirect. I'm going to skip this column directly to the right because that's only if it's a direct example. And I'm going to jump to this question. If it's indirect, what personality trait do you infer or do you understand from the example? Here, I understand that he's annoyed by his cousin. Okay, then I'm going to jump directly to the right of that. Was the quote an action, a speech, or a thought? And since Jose is looking at his cousin, this here is an example of an action that Jose does, which shows me that he is annoyed. What you're going to do, you can see that there's 3 examples left on this page, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, should be 7. The other one got split right here. So it's 10 examples. that you have to do on your own. So you're looking for 10 examples out of the text. They can be direct or indirect examples, and you're going to fill in the chart.